Hello again. Sorry for standing so close to the camera, but it's got a little bit windy and I'm not sure how my voice might turn out as I'm answering some of the questions now. We're now at a place called Platani. In the ancient past, the Greek civilization was quite splintered, as some of you are probably aware. Lots of city-states had their own kings and queens, and that's the same with Kos. The reason Kephalos was the capital, or the ancient capital, was that the king of Kos used to live this end with his family. That's why Hippocrates had his university down there. And I'll show you in a minute when I've answered one or two questions. What I'll do is I'll answer one or two questions to the camera, then I'll answer a few more behind the camera so I can show you about. But because they lived this end, the king had his own chapel built, or his own place of worship, and this is on the site of that, where we are now, is on the site of his ancient temple. Obviously, as Christianity spread, little churches were built on top, and although over that way there's a modern example where people can take a look now, tourists and things, where we are, it's behind some fencing. I know a way in. Well, as you'll see, it's very, very interesting, and this is right on your doorstep, or right on my doorstep, totally unprotected. It's lovely. I'll show you in a minute. First of all, I'll answer a couple of questions, and then show you around. Remember, I'm answering questions on behalf of Maverick Promotions, who'd like to know how long have we been writing. I've been writing since 2010. Change of life circumstances, really. I joined the military when I was a teenager. Straight from the military I went into the police, and of course that type of lifestyle is very, very busy. I'd always wanted to write, I've always been creative, but that type of lifestyle just gets in the way of being able to spend quality time and putting things down. And then a few years before I started writing, I was badly injured and forced to retire early. They said I'd never walk again. Showed them wrong, didn't I? I was in hospital for a few years. When I got out, I really plugged with it, regained a good measure of health, and I thought, now I've got all this time to myself, I'll do something about it. And I started to fulfill a lifelong dream, to write. One of the questions, it says, what advice would you give to aspiring authors? Well, I'm still new. It's the same advice as I give myself, really. Keep plugging away. Although I'm new, I've seen already there are some really good writers out there, really good. The trouble is, many times, because now there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of authors, and unless you get that break, wow, you don't make it big, with the major publishing houses, and very often the people who get that type of break, it's someone they know, they've got this little road in, and that doesn't happen for the majority. As I say, I've seen in the smaller publishing houses, some self-published people, they're incredibly talented. And, so all I'd say, quite simply, I know you've heard it before, perhaps, sorry I can't offer anything that's sage and wise, but keep plugging away, keep struggling, keep fighting to improve your craft, and one day, the right person, I'm sure, will recognise your work, and that'll be the break you need. What I'll do, I'll start showing you around, so you don't have to keep looking at me. I'll answer a few more questions and actually show you the site. 1 second. Now, there we go. Now, just a few minutes ago, we were up, where is it? There, up on that hillside, believe it or not. And this is the type of area that Hippocrates had to work in and live in. This is the area the king liked to live in. Just move around the edge. This, by the way, is the ancient ruin we're in, and I'll show you a bit more of those in a moment. As I walk, let's have a look at another question. 1 second. Before I do, and here we are around the other side. There we are. That across that way through the mist. Believe it or not, it is there. It's Turkey. This is more of the village of Kefalos with its, I'm just going to zoom in on its ancient castle there. It's a village of about 2,000, 2,500 people. Size of interest for you, a brand new school, just been built on the outskirts. And now we come back around to the site of this ancient ruin, which, as I say, as Christianity grew, they built this ancient chapel. This is the actual site, though, of the king's palatial place of worship. And I say that over there was an ancillary chapel for his wife, because they weren't allowed to mix their worship. 1 second, just look at some of the questions. What did I want to be when I grew up? Well, it's no secret, and don't laugh, but when I grew up I did want to be an astronaut. My generations of my family have been in the military, and I followed that vocation, but wanted to be an astronaut. I made sure I went into or was going into the right branch of the Royal Navy, control electronics or a pilot. I was fortunate, I had a choice. Sadly, as happens with many things, life got in the way. My parents split up when I was young, and at the time I was living with my mother, and I really didn't get on with my father-in-law, so I changed into a specialist branch of the Navy, like you have over there. You have your Navy SEALs. I changed to the Royal Marines. It allowed me to join earlier, get away from home, but of course it stifled my hope of becoming an astronaut. What's a quirky writing habit? Quirky. Well, I've got a bit of a penchant for thongs, as bright and luminous ones, preferably with sequins and 2 sizes too small. They pinch like hell, but God, do they make you tight fast? No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Writing essentials. Well, 1 second, I'm just going to pause it while we go up to the top, to the modern day little church that people can visit, and from there you can actually see my house. 1 second.